Hello and welcome back to the Upset Special. We're in week 6 already. Our records are terrible, but the vibes are higher than ever. I'm not kidding. The vibes are higher than. We have our first special guest on for the Upset Special. This is big time. This is Raza.
Yes, sir.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, indeed. Finding it very hard to argue with that.
Yes, DK Metcalf has zero to do with this, though. Absolutely nothing to do with this. We're just here to talk college football, talk upsets. I'll recap how things went last week real quickly. Dave split 1-1. UL Monroe over Arkansas State ended up being a blowout in the end, but Kansas over Iowa State. Kansas in these upsets. What is going on? Leica with MTSU or UTSA absolutely got smacked. Auburn over LSU. What was going on there? Auburn folded like a pretzel. That was a terrible. Folded like a pretzel might be the worst expression I could. Folded like a pullout or something. I don't know. That was a terrible expression though. Awful from me. As were picks of Iowa over Michigan, UC Davis over Montana State. I wasn't seeing the board clearly. Hopefully I am today. And then Dylan last week with the laser of TCU over Oklahoma, but he lost on Tulsa over Cincy. Dave, you're 2-8. Leica, you're 3-7. I'm 3-7. Jake and Drewster. Andrewster and Dylan 1-1. Jake 2-4. Raza, you're 0-0. You need some wins here for us. Come on. Bring the juice.
I got you. I will try my best.
Let's go. Let's hear number 1 from you.
So I'm looking at the ACC this week. I see some teams. I have an upset that I actually think is going to happen, and then I have kind of like a sickos upset. So the Tar Heels are getting 4 points at Miami this weekend. And how that's possible, I have no idea. Now, I don't think the Heels have been the most impressive team in the world through 5 games. They really cannot play defense. And the only team they were able to shut down on offense was Virginia Tech, who can't play offense. But Miami can't really play offense either, can they?
No.
I mean, yeah, team that got shut down for the most part outside of garbage time by Middle Tennessee State. On that stage 2 weeks ago, the previous week scored 9 points against Texas A&M, I think, 9 points. So there could be points on the board in this game, but if it's a shootout, I'm taking the Heels. If it's not a shootout, I'm still taking the Heels. I don't think they should be dogs in this game. I don't think they should be getting 4 points in this game either. I like their offensive talent way more. Miami, had a week off last week. This is their first conference game, but I don't see that playing a factor. They're just not good at anything. So.
Not scared of that raucous home atmosphere at Hard Rock Stadium. All 53 Miami fans getting turned up for the U. You're not scared by that?
I was gonna say like 5,000, but that seemed like too generous of an estimate, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But my sickos upset of the week. Now I was torn between two, both my home state teams, the Hoos and the Hokies. I'm actually going to rock with the Hokies on the road against Pitt. And here's why. Now, this is the biggest spread of any non-Clemson team, I think, this week in the ACC. Maybe Wake over Army. But
yeah, Wake's like 17.
Yeah, so the Hokies are getting like 2 touchdowns on the road, right? Against a Pitt team that just lost at home to Georgia Tech. Now, I do think the Jackets are a better team than most people give them credit for. Put up a good fight against Clemson, go on the road, beat Pitt. But these two teams don't like each other very much. I think at the very least, the Hokies can cover 14.5, 15 points. I don't know if they have it in them to win. They're playing much worse than I thought they would. Not as bad as UVA is playing, but that's a story for an entirely different time. I just think, Pitt is struggling incredibly offensively, And while Tech is struggling on both sides of the ball, this is the type of opponent that you think maybe they can put it together against. But they've scored 20 points in their last 2 games. So asking them to cover 15 might sound like a little bit too tall of a task. But I don't know. I'm feeling the Hokies this week. I don't know what it is.
There's something with you there that you just pick 2 games where the home team gets like 12 fans in attendance at their NFL stadium, and it's a terrible, awful vibes atmosphere. And
it just might be that.
Like Virginia Tech's offense is, an abomination, but so is Pitt's.
It's not going to be good. I mean, listen, the other team I was looking at was UVA, who, went from up here all the way to down here on offense from one year to another, which is inexcusable after bringing in Tony Elliott. But at the same time, anybody who's watched Clemson since Trevor Lawrence will tell you that Tony Elliott is not exactly the offensive guru the media makes him out to be. So I don't trust UVA even at home getting points against Louisville. For some reason, I just trust the Hokies more.
Going back to his first pick, I like his Carolina over Miami pick. Of course, a wise man once said they gave us $1.5 million, but they only got 1.6 yards per carry.
Yeah, that was very wise of Stockstill to say that when he had UTSA coming in last week.
Yeah,
that was true. Really good of him.
We're not going to talk about last week, but in all seriousness, Miami's offense has struggled the last several weeks, as you said, and Carolina's a team that, while their defense has not proven to really been consistent at getting stops, their offense has been good enough to get them by in a lot of games at the game at App State, the game against Georgia Southern as well when they struggled there. And they got a great QB, running back, wide receiver trio, May, Hampton, and Downs. I mean, this is going to be hard to – I think that's going to be hard to stop for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I love Drake May. So I was thinking about UNC and picking them, but I'm glad you did so I didn't have to, because I am wary of that defense. But then again, Van Dyke was atrocious against Middle Tennessee State. But yeah, I like the Heels. I like Drake May. And I think it could very well happen. So I guess I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Should I go with 2 or just 1?
Do you have another one you want, Raza?
Those were my 2. I was also looking at
if you want
Georgia Tech over Duke at home.
If you want a third one outside of the ACC, we could get back to you after Dave, Leica, and I go.
All right. All right. That sounds good.
So, all right. So my first one. So I have 2 wins. I'm 2-8. I could have 5. We're not going to talk about.
Could have 10.
It's a loss.
Could be 10-0.
I should be 10-0. But I'm 2-0. I'm sharp on Iowa State. Iowa State beat Iowa, is on that. Kansas beat Iowa State, I'm on that. I'm not going with Iowa State, though. Not so fast, my friend. I'm sticking with Kansas. I'm going with the Jayhawks back-to-back weeks. Biggest win in probably program history. Game days in Lawrence. They proved they can win a game by playing defense. They won 14-11. The offense wasn't great, but they shut down Deckers. They shut down the run. They struggled with Xavier Hutchinson, but what are you going to do? We knew that was going to happen. We said that on the last show. TSU's offense is a bit of a problem. They're incredible. They run the ball over the place. Max Duggan runs that offense very well. I don't like that I'm wearing purple right now. I just realized this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were going to take Iowa State over Kansas State, who obviously reps the purple. Then you disregard that anyway and pick against another team wearing purple.
Going against purple. I'm on the Jayhawks, man. Rock chalk Jayhawk. But yeah, I think Kansas's defense will be able to slow down TCU a little bit, because I don't think that they'll be able to explode like they did against Oklahoma. You can kind of figure out what they were doing. Oklahoma's defense was really, really bad, and just it's a pure vibes. The atmosphere in Lawrence, first time game days ever there. The place is going to be absolutely rocking. Kansas is going to win this game. They're a touchdown dog. I love them this week.
I don't. I said it on our podcast, dude. This just, to me, as someone who has said that Lance Leipold is just playing NCAA 14, he's playing on his dynasty, and he's bringing Kansas up the ranks, but he's been playing on freshmen. And then his friends like, yo, let's turn up the difficulty. Like, get him varsity at least, or get him Heisman. So here's his Heisman game right now. Now he's got TCU, he's got college game day. All the lights are on him. 9 a.m. Fox Sports 1. They lose. Speed kills. TCU is one of the fastest teams in the country, if not the fastest. They have too many offensive playmakers. I kind of think that I love what Kansas doing. I kind of hope they win the game, but I just think that this is going to hit them like a brick. Like TCU is coming full speed ahead. Him like a brick, maybe him like a straight up freight train or something. I don't know. I think TCU might blow them out.
You have Vegas brain. That's why Vegas is giving them a touchdown. That's what your issue is. You think they're gonna blow them out, and nobody thinks Kansas can win another big game. They're 19 in the country. They're pulling this off.
All right. Maybe your next pick will be Northwestern with the purple.
Maybe.
For me, like, I don't necessarily think it would be a blowout, but I'm also on TCU this game because of especially how they played against Oklahoma. I mean, I think they could go into Lawrence and easily win there. I think this game will be big towards the Big 12 championship race. It's essentially one of the first of many playoff game type of situations. I'm not saying these teams are like college football playoff, man. I'm saying like for the conference championship ramifications, it's a massive game. And I think the pressure might get to Kansas here as much as I would love to see Kansas win this. Max Duggan, I think, is just too much. He's been playing out of his mind this year.
I do think the vibes are going to be insane in Lawrence this weekend. The noon Eastern kick really kind of blows, but game day is going to be rocking. The entire state's going to be rocking. But I've seen it too many times. Like, this adorable, little team is finally doing big things, and game day's going there, and everybody's tweeting about them, and then their first big game on TV is just a disaster. And I don't think it's going to be a disaster, but I'm with Liam and I'm with Vegas. I think a touchdown's fair. I think Kansas didn't show enough offensively last week, also at home, to just feel, confident enough against the TCU team that looked just incredible on both sides of the ball last week. So maybe not a blowout, but like
it's just
around a possession feels right.
It's just like, it was so great that Kansas, won and everything, but it was 14-11. Their offense was not clicking. It was a tough, gritty game, whatever. Iowa State's kicker missed 3 field goals, 2 off the same upright. Like, there was a lot of fluke in that KU win. I seriously just think, like, Keandre Miller does not get enough respect that he deserves. He's one of the best running backs in the country. He doesn't get the ball enough. He doesn't get enough volume. TCU, get that kid the ball. Watch him run for 7.5, 8 yards a carry. It's just TCU's offense. This isn't something that the Kansas defense has seen before. I think they're in for a rude awakening. That's how I'm looking at it.
We'll laugh at you all next week.
Congrats. KU just won. Congrats, Dave.
I guess I'll make my first pick. I'm going to go to the best conference in college football, the Fun Belt, and a team that has played a tough schedule, is a double-digit underdog at home, has a familiar face to people in the state of Florida playing quarterback for them. I'm talking about, and they're going up against a team that has played great this year as they've transitioned to the FBS level. Something just tells me Arkansas State over James Madison because of the trend of the double-digit underdog at home. Somehow, some way, at least one wins, and I'm gonna pick this one because I think Arkansas State is a lot better than their record. The 3 losses are tough to really quality opponents, I would say. They bounced back quite nicely. Their offense looked really good against ULM. James Blackman has actually played extremely well this year as a senior quarterback for the Red Wolves. And although Todd Centeio and company, he's also played great for James Madison. It's kind of the similar feel to how James Madison at App State was, like how Andrew explained it, and Drewster explained it last week, or 2 weeks ago. It's sort of the honeymoon's over type of thing. I think JMU's honeymoon's over. That's how I feel about that one.
I mean, I don't love Arkansas State, honestly, but you're right about that double-digit dog at home, at least one hits. Arkansas State, they stuck it to me last week, but yeah, they usually lose close games. Like they look all right against Memphis. They could have beat Old Dominion. Against Ohio State, they held on for as long as they could. So I could see it happening. And I mean, who does JMU play next week? Is it a look-ahead game for them, or is it at Georgia Southern next week? Yeah, I mean, it could be because I think Georgia Southern is a better team than Arkansas State, but I don't hate the pick at all.
And yeah, Georgia Southern gave Carolina a game last week 2, I believe, when they played, and that's kind of a game like JMU's got to go back to back on the road. Maybe they're not thinking about that one against Georgia Southern, and then they also got to play Marshall week after that too. So it's kind of an interesting stretch for them. That's just Arkansas State just gives me the type of vibe of double-digit underdog that wins, you know.
Well, I would be devastated if that's the game JMU lost this year.
Yeah.
Oh my, I would be.
But because college football, because college football.
Because college football. Dude, like when we did our Sunbelt preview, there were so many people that are like, how could you see JMU winning 7 games in our first season? Like they're already at 5. Like the team is just built different for whatever. They're going to be at 5. I'm sorry. Like, I just think JMU is so good. Chris Thorne is one of the best receivers in the group of 5. I hope he's got NFL potential in his future. He's just a great electric player. And Teo has been, this is a redemption tour for him. He was horrific at Colorado State recently. And for him to turn it around like this just speaks to the job that Cignetti is doing at JMU. That program is unbelievable, man. I don't love that I don't like you or Dave's first picks, but I like Raza's pick with UNC.
That seems to be the theme.
All right, what do you got, Liam?
All right. So we've got, I wasn't actually going to pick this game, and I thought, well, we've got Raza on, and this guy loves his Fridays. He loves Chick-fil-A Friday. I'm going to take the Chick-fil-A Friday upset special of the millennium. It's UNLV getting 7 against San Jose State. Rebels win this one outright, in my opinion. This is an explosive offense that has looked so good thus far. Their lone loss coming to Cal in a game that they were competing until the very end. Doug Brumfield, unbelievable what he's been able to do. He looked good last year as a freshman. He's just taken that leap and he's put it all together. A lefty quarterback, guys. He's been insane. They're missing Kyle Williams, their receiver, which is a tough loss, but Ricky White, Michigan State transfer, is a stud in his own right. And Robbins, Louisville transfer, has been so good at running back. This running Rebels team, they're just good. And I'm such an idiot for ever picking this team in the worst record draft before the season. Awful on me. I'll take my L and I'll take my W when they beat SJSU this week. This is a game that has massive Mountain West implications for the title game. The Mountain West stinks this year. The Mountain West is terrible. The winner of this game has a clear path to make it to the Mountain West Conference Championship game by way of being the best team from the Mountain West Division. And it's all making sense why the MWC doesn't want divisions anymore and they're abolishing them starting next season. I don't understand why UNLV's +7 in that game. That could be Vegas, swindling us, because SJSU, they've been solid. The Wyoming win was pretty good. Being there with Auburn at the end didn't make sense. Their first game against Portland State was garbanzo beans.
Yeah, I like the pick for sure. I had it written down, but I decided to not go with my first play because I had a feeling you were going to take it, honestly. So but I love Doug Brumfield. I think that he is an incredible quarterback. And you're right about the Mountain West. It's wide open. I think Air Force is the favorite right now to win it. But then again, Air Force also lost to Wyoming. So I think anybody could win this conference. And this one, whoever wins this game, whether it be UNLV, San Jose State, I like the UNLV pick. They're definitely favorites to make a run at it.
Yeah, and like UNLV has a tough schedule coming up. Like they have Air Force next, then they have Notre Dame. Like they and yeah, they have San Diego State, Fresno State after, who are down, but like gotta get your wins. We gotta get to bowl eligibility. You want to secure this one. You want to find your way to that Mountain West title game. I love them in this game. I really do. I would have thought the spread would have been like 2.5 for SJSU. Awful home atmosphere. Half the stadium is under construction still. Terrible vibes there. Rebels all day on Friday night. Chick-fil-A Friday, we'll be celebrating with some spicy chicken sandwiches.
The Chick-fil-A Friday upset special. This should be we need a sponsorship at this point, honestly.
Truer words have never been said, Mr. Raza.
So back to me now.
Unless Raza wants to give another.
I mean, okay. I have one.
Is it in the ACC?
No, it's in the conference. It's in the real Conference of Champions, Big 12. So
what was that? What was that? No way. For a loop and with
the slander
conference. Oh.
No, this is a children's conference, but it is where I'm gonna go with. So I think for Oklahoma, it can't go any lower than it actually currently is. I can't fathom it getting any worse. And I think there's no better way to turn the season around and shut people up than by beating Texas at the state fair. And I like Oklahoma to win this game. Straight up. For one, I just think Texas has a mental block against Oklahoma in the last few years. Like every time they come close to winning, or in the case of last year, go up 21 in the first quarter, they find the most Texas way to lose the game. And they have already found the most Texas ways to lose games earlier in the season, especially against Tech. And so, yeah, all signs for me point towards Oklahoma winning this game outright. I think they need to prove to everyone that they're not as bad as last Saturday indicated. And I don't know, what to make of Texas at quarterback. Quinn Ewers coming back. Is he going to be okay? If it is Hudson Card, that doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. So there's plenty to like with Texas, and there's nothing to like with Oklahoma, which is exactly why I'm taking the Sooners in this game.
That's the college sports logic. There's nothing better reasoning than that right there.
Perfect.
Because college football. Exactly.
I'm with it. I did pick Texas, but I was very close to taking OU too, like for the exact reasons that you said. Oh my gosh, UCLA legend Dylan Gabriel has not been that good. He really needs to figure it out. He took a class at UCLA, said I'm gonna get up on out here, go play football at OU. And I mean, he's been struggling. Hope he's all right, dealing with injury too. But it's just like him and Marvin Mims just don't feel in sync at all. It's like Jaden Daniels and Keyshawn Butte at LSU. Like, they're too good of receivers to not be in sync with their quarterback. It's just bad stuff. Hopefully they could get back on track.
Yeah, this is again. I picked Texas in our pool, but I kind of just flipped a coin on this one because I don't know, because I think getting 7 at Oklahoma's getting 7, right?
That's right.
So I think that's kind of big, especially it being a neutral site game and both teams are pretty bad right now. I know that Texas just kind of whooped West Virginia and Oklahoma's going up 2 bad losses, but Oklahoma, this is where you can kind of recorrect and set your season back on track right here. And I could see it happening because you don't want to lose your 3rd straight game after being a top 10 team to your biggest rival. So I do like the pick, but this game is going to be, it's a weird vibe game. It always is.
And like just seeing Oklahoma in the year 2022 start 0-3 in conference as if they're in the SEC, like It's hard to compute.
Yeah, we'll get used to seeing it eventually, though.
Yeah, it'll be all too familiar soon enough. Are we getting to the point where they gotta look at Venables and be like, you might not be the man for the job, my dude?
Maybe not. So I'll do my second one. See, I'm very torn here. Do I go sickos or do I go with like a regular upset pick?
Guest's choice.
Yeah, Raza, you pick. Should I go sickos or should I go run of the mill upset?
Listen, I rocked with Virginia Tech because it was a sickos pick, so I feel like it's got to be a sickos pick here, just to level the playing field.
Look, granted, may I ask if it is an upset first? It's a 2-point underdog at home, unranked teams.
If this is what you want, take
once
it.
Once you hear the team is, I think you'll agree.
All right.
Bowling Green over Buffalo.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. I'm going real sickos here. I told you it was a sickos pick. This is just a action play for me. Bowling Green has that great win against Marshall right after they beat Notre Dame. They just narrowly squeaked by Akron, but they're playing Buffalo, who's off back-to-back wins. They smoked Eastern Michigan. They put up 50 points, and then they beat Miami of Ohio at home last week. But they lost to Holy Cross week 2, so they're susceptible to falling apart and losing this game. And here's the key for Bowling Green, Liam. Our boy Matt McDonald, who we talked about in the MAC preview, we had said he had to be better for this team to win games, and he has been. He's not throwing for a ton of yards. He's averaging like 232 yards through the air like per game, but his touchdown interception ratio is 13-to-1. The guy's not turning the ball over, and that's going to be a key in this game. McDonald and the vibes, give me Bowling Green to get to 500 and just be 3 wins away from a bowl.
Here's the issue with Mr. McDonald. Yeah, he's worked on his throwing motion. I've still never seen a worse throwing motion in the sport of football above like Pop Warner. This stuff that he's doing, whoever his quarterback coaches are, like outside of the Bowling Green program that have been working with them and trying to get him to throw football the right way, have done probably like it's a fireable offense. It's not even a fireable offense. It's a seek another career offense. His throwing motion is so bad. And it's just unbelievable and he's worked on it. Like if you go like 2020 and compare it to 2022, it's still improved, but it's like I can't even explain how bad it is. It's just something that you gotta look up for yourself and be like, I could have been a college quarterback too. It's just
somebody made a Matt McDonald like highlight reel fan cam for all of his highlights from last year. This is incredible.
Look at the throws, man. Look how bad they are. Just the throwing motion is garbage. The little wind up that he's got, it's just bad stuff.
I'm clipping this in. Oh my god, it's bad.
Yes, it's terrible.
It's like he's throwing a
like he doesn't
he goes all the way around.
It's terrible. I can't explain it.
Yeah, all right. I'm clipping that in.
Like that's not the best, it's just not someone I would ever say like
that's my guy though. 13-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Bowling Green wins this game. I'm taking the money line on the gambling show tomorrow.
Do you know how embarrassing it is that there's defenses out there? There's been 5 defenses that have allowed him to have a 13-1 touchdown interception ratio in 2022 with that throwing motion, including the mighty Bruins of UCLA were able to get sliced up by him in the first half.
Yeah, he's good. I'll say it. Matt McDonald's a good MAC quarterback.
Yeah, wait till he's starting for the Washington Commanders next year.
Yeah, he's going to be awesome. 7th round pick. Can't wait.
Don't put that evil on me, please.
I just did.
I actually don't mind the pick. This might be the only situation on earth I'd be like, yes, the Bowling Green Falcons. Let's put money on them. I'm with it. I'm honestly with it. I just think.
Am I the only one that likes
you
Buffalo?
said it? You said it, and then you were like, "No."
I mean, it's like when you say it, you're just like, "Wait, that sounded way more gross than I thought." But I mean, Listen, man, Falcons at home.
Hell, they've
And-
got their
It's a long
rival
trip to
Miami,
Buffalo.
Ohio on deck. So Buffalo's got on deck. Oh, at UMass. Oh, Buffalo by 9,000, Dave.
No way.
All right, then you better pick UMass over Buffalo next week.
All right. It sounds good. Pencil me in for that.
Fair trade.
Well, I guess I'll make my second pick. This one I'm a little less confident on than the first one. But the team is coming off of a double overtime win on the road. And they're annoying to play against because of the offense they run. And they're playing against a team that record-wise has been rough, but they've played great against ranked teams, and they've played really well against a ranked team earlier in the season. But something tells me Navy at home against Tulsa as a 6-point underdog, the way they play, I think could be really sneaky. I really feel that I think that win over ECU got them back on track. And although Davis Brennan at Tulsa has been playing really well for them, I feel like Navy's style of play and trying to, continuously keep the ball away from an offense like Tulsa that wants to get the ball and score quickly, like long sustained drives and all that noise with the triple option. Something just tells me Navy over Tulsa.
This might be our grossest show yet.
100%.
This is.
I love it.
I know this one's way more gross than the first one, and that first one was a double-digit underdog. Just something tells me, and it's a 3:30 kickoff, I believe.
Eastern,
Like,
yeah.
it's like one of those AAC 3:30 games where you just go, something's gonna happen, something weird. Let's get weird, one type of, that's just how I feel.
Anyone else have thoughts on it? Oh, sorry, Dave. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I don't despise the pick just because like that's a gross game. Like nobody's gonna watch Tulsa Navy, but Navy, I believe Navy they play well against Tulsa, right? Like in history, I don't know, but this Navy team is pretty bad, honestly. Yeah, I could see it. It's just, I mean, there's really nothing I could.
Kind of one of those ugly type of like 13-10 type of games.
Exactly. That's
Every
how
Navy game ends 13-10.
Yeah. But if Tulsa can put up points like they're known to,
if Tulsa scores more than 20, they're not losing. I can
Exactly,
definitely
yeah.
see that.
Three
But
touchdowns, it's over.
something tells me Navy is going to play really well this week, and I think that win over ECU may have gotten them back right. That's just a feeling.
Respect it. I will say I'm very surprised that Washington State over SC and then Texas Tech over Oklahoma State weren't picked. I was expecting to see one of those picked. I really was. I thought when you went to the Conference of Champions of Truck Stops routes, I thought you were for sure going to go with Texas Tech. I think that's an interesting game to keep an eye on.
I was looking at it for sure. I just like Oklahoma State's defense way too much.
I did too. I think it was a complete just assessment of just people over analyzing what happened week 1 against Central Michigan. Like it was 21 points in the fourth quarter in garbage time of the game. They were up 700 in with backups in. Their defense giving up 44 in that game meant nothing. Like it was just a bunch of people freaking out for no reason. Part of me wanted to pick Florida State over NC State here because Big Game Boomer picked NC State to make the playoff. And I forgot about that until today.
Oh my goodness!
And I was just
glad
like,
you brought that up because
yeah,
one.
what?
We're not going to talk about what happened week 1, okay?
I got you. It's just like
one kick. We're not even talking about him. That's
brutal.
All.
And that was my week 1 pick.
That's my bias take.
Dude, I was gonna pick NC State in that game, and I remembered Big Game Boomer picked them to make clap. Like it just screams Florida State's gonna win, but let's just go with something else. Everyone, what's your favorite sandwich?
That's a good question. I'll go with the grilled cheese.
I'm gonna go with a cheesesteak if that counts.
I'll count that.
What about you, Leica?
Me too. I'm taking cheesesteak.
Yeah, weird. None of those I'm with. I'm more with the sandwich of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and then right in the middle of it is South Carolina. I like South Carolina to beat Kentucky in a classic sandwich game. I also love the Philly cheesesteak. Big fan of the Philly cheesesteak. So get some hot peppers and stuff on there. But golly, Kentucky ain't good at all. That's a thing that people need to realize. Will Levis, you're overrated, my dude. It's okay. It's not fair about, you might be a good NFL quarterback at the end of the day, but my goodness, does he make some terrible decisions? He fails to progress through his reads a bunch. He'll just make so many turnover worthy throws, stays in the pocket too long, takes hits that he shouldn't be taking. I don't like Will Levis. Spencer Rattler ain't really a guy either. So
The old projected number 1 pick.
this is just straight up. The vibes are screaming. This is a sandwich game. I said right when we were looking at this stretch, yeah, Kentucky's either going 0-4 or 1-3 in the stretch of Ole Miss, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Tennessee. Let's shoot for 0-4. I think this team is significantly overrated. They have been all year. It's not right to be ranked in the top 10 just because some writers put you there for absolutely no reason because they don't know ball. We know ball. Kentucky ain't it, Chief. Offense, the offense scheme is extremely out of date. We could say the dinosaurs, of course, were fit to run this 11-man offense. The running game's overrated. I really like their playmakers though. Like Dane Key's a dude, and Barry Brown is electric, but it's just like a middle of a road team. Like this team's just like 7-5 good. Like they're not the 13th best team in the country. They weren't a top 10 team last week. South Carolina is due for one of these wins. They've struggled. Shane Beamer's a psychopath. I know he could pull this win off for me.
Not psychopath Shane on him one time.
I like the pick a lot.
I do too. I like that pick. I like that pick.
Yeah, I'm definitely an outspoken Will Levis is not good, train rider. I don't think Kentucky is so I had Kentucky just kind of like lingering in top 10 range for a while, but hindsight's 2020. Like, what was the basis for any of that? What was the basis for Kentucky being the number 7 team in the country last week?
I don't know.
Over Tennessee ever at any point in the last month or so is kind of beyond me. I do think they put up a better fight actually than I expected them to last week, but I don't know if that says more about Kentucky or more about Ole Miss.
2 bad teams, I think, that somehow are both in the top 15.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you're forgetting which conference they play in.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like South Carolina at all. I don't like Spencer Rattler at all. I mean, they've played a really poor schedule thus far this year, and any of the real teams they've played have just been, have dominated them. But I like the logic behind the pick. I like the reasoning behind it, and it's a very convincing argument. And I love the setup too, so I'm fully on board.
I thought of that 17 seconds before it got to my pick. I was like, all right, we're going. But like with Ole Miss, it's like I think I do think they're a good team. I don't think they're like a top 10 team or anything, but I think it's more so that they kind of are who they are. They're not going to be a team that's going to be blowing out anybody, really. I know they blew out Georgia Tech and stuff, but like Troy's defense was able to keep that to like a 28-10 game. It's just Ole Miss, they're a run-first team. It's really good in the trenches. Best running back duo in the country. Decent quarterback that uses the legs. Michael Trigg. Dude is a monster at tight end, needs the ball more. I just don't think their team is going to be able to blow many teams out. But you're right. Kentucky made an impression on me in that game, and it still said like nothing to me because I had them ranked. I'm ranked like 17, and I have them at 18 now. Like I'm not going to fault them much for that game. They are where they should be right now, but I expect in 2 weeks for them to be unranked. It's them and Arkansas just have that same kind of way about them to me. I don't believe in either team. I keep them at the end of my top 25, and then when it's time to go, I throw you out there in the shallow realm with all the other overrated teams that are now unranked immediately.
Yeah, you want to talk about an offense that is prehistorically outdated. That would be Arkansas.
Oh my gosh. I hope
It's
KJ is
really
okay, but KJ is not good at all. And saying that they're gonna go to 14 over Malik Hornsby. If I'm Malik Hornsby, I'm finding ways to become eligible for another team next week so I could play quarterback there. I think there might be a team in Blacksburg that would use his services.
I mean, if they figured out how to scheme offense at a, competent level.
The fun thing with Malik Hornsby is you've got one of the fastest players in the country that's rotting away on Arkansas's bench. It doesn't matter what scheme you use. His pure speed and playmaking ability is going to kill it wherever he's playing. How they don't get him on the field more, how he's not their QB1 is mind-blowing to me. But yeah, I don't know. We got there from Kentucky. Guys, go back to Kentucky real quick. Like, they haven't been good in any of their wins. Like, except the Florida one is good, but Florida stinks.
Yeah.
Florida wasn't anything. Like Miami, Ohio, they were very pedestrian against. Brett Gabbert got hurt in that game, out for the year. That was unfortunate. Youngstown State, they weren't able to maul through. They only scored 31 on them. Northern Illinois had as good a shot to win that game as the score shows with an 8-point closer. Kentucky's not good. They're not good. They're not good.
I don't think they're good at all.
So, want to run through our picks? Or
Can I give my bonus pick real quick?
Yes, bonus pick,
I
please.
want to go with my bonus pick. This doesn't count towards my record or anything because I went with the sickos pick. My bonus pick was the
Wait, can I
Bruins.
guess?
Or
Oh.
Utah.
I was gonna guess Arizona though.
Oh, yeah. I think UCLA has a shot to beat Utah.
I don't, but we appreciate.
Did you think UCLA
your
had a shot to beat Washington last week?
No, which is why this is bad, because what I was telling Raza earlier was this is a classic UCLA thing. This is where they get you. This is where they get you. They look garbage, and then they come out and they get a super impressive win, and then every fan turns from pessimism to belief, and they're all in. And oh yeah, Rose Bowl back on, and then they get slaughtered the next week, or they let you down in some horrific fashion.
Yeah, I think that I think Penix just played awful, of course, but I think that if DTR can play like Anthony Richardson played when Florida played Utah, they have a shot. That's pretty much where I was going to go with that pick if I were to take it.
I think that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that he could do it.
Yeah, but I think the Swamp is a little more of a tougher place to play than the UCLA home Rose Bowl.
That's a very good point.
So I think that plays
100%.
a little. Yeah, I mean that might be a hot take. I'm not sure, Liam. You let me know.
What I did. Okay, well, let's just run through this quick. On Friday morning, I sent a copy paste out to some group chats, sent out to UCLA fans. All right, Washington's third play of the game. If you're at the game, you need to give us a good roar. Just throw Penix in this offense off guard. What happened on the third play of the game? Oh, weird. Kalen DeBoer called a timeout before the third play of the game. He felt what was coming, that gigantic roar from UCLA fans. We've got a presence, whether you know it or not, whether DeBoer knew it or not. Deep down, I know straight up, DeBoer knew that there was a crazy Bruin roar coming for him on Friday night.
I'm scared.
It's a tough atmosphere there.
Unspoken home field advantage at the Rose Bowl, especially on a Friday night.
Yeah, ask LSU how they like that home field advantage. Oof. Ask A&M how they like that home field advantage. Oof-da. They might have outnumbered our fans, but they didn't outnumber our heart.
Yeah, I think Utah -4.5 is one of the locks of the week. But
I
enough
agree.
about that.
I agree with you.
That's why it wasn't my pick. I'm more confident Bowling Green.
More confident. Bowling Green. Hello.
The
Dave
state-
about that
the
Maction.
state
I
of the
love
program.
it. He's about that Maction,
I
man.
wish I had my Maction shirt on, but I don't. All right, should I run through my picks?
Run through what? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, run through your picks. I thought you were gonna run through all your gambling picks. For the
No,
week.
no,
Like,
no.
that's another show.
All right, so I'm on Kansas to beat TCU, and I'm on Bowling Green to beat Buffalo.
I'm on Arkansas State over James Madison and Navy over Tulsa because Extreme Sickos vibes. Both games are going to be bleh. There you go.
I definitely like UNC over Miami on the road. And for some unforsaken reason, I like Virginia Tech over Pitt on the road. And then my special extra guest pick was Oklahoma over Texas at the State Fair. That one just makes a little bit too much sense. And Liam, I actually did think about Wazoo over USC. I think that if that game's in Pullman, it's not a 2-touchdown spread, first of all, but it makes it much easier to pick Wazoo. I don't know what they can do on the road. Not that, the Coliseum is much of any of a, danger at this point, but very close to picking that one as well.
I mean, Washington State already beat one Big Ten West team on the road when they beat Wisconsin. Why can't they be the
That was
second?
one of my picks. No, I'm just kidding.
Why can't they be the second? I don't know. Like those are always games that really with those Washington schools, with Washington State, just how many SoCal kids they have, LA kids, they come to play. I can't wait to watch that game. I don't really care who wins. Like, I'm gonna be rooting for Wazoo and everything, but that game's gonna be so much fun to watch. I can't wait. That you need to tune into that one over the Jimbo Saban Beef Bowl. It's okay not to have that game on your top priority. I promise. And now I'm just realizing with my picks, went the food route for both of them because we have that sandwich of South Carolina over Kentucky, and then we have the Chick-fil-A Friday upset special at the Millennium
That's right.
with UNLV over San Jose State. So maybe I should have found a way to get a rice upset later in the year, but we're all about food this week for Liam Blutman.
I love it.
Thank you. And we can't thank you enough, Raza, for hopping on here, helping
Yeah,
us
it's a
out.
pleasure.
Really appreciate you. Best of luck to your picks. It'd be a real shame if you went 0-2. Oh,
it's
that'd be
tough.
tough for you. Oh man.
Oh man, that would be just dreadful. How could I ever live with it? No, thank you guys. I'm very, very glad you were able to have me on, and I very much enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. And yes, again, if you're still watching the analysts, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, would help us out greatly. Comment below some of your favorite upsets, spark the conversation. Let's talk some sickos college football, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much. See ya.
Falcons.